How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. We are at the halfway point for the Cincinnati Bengals 2020 season. And I think the biggest flip-flop from last year to this year is the 260 yards per game through the air compared to the 228 last season of this Bengals offense, with an offensive line that has been shuffled like crazy, but improving over the last 4 weeks. If you take out the Baltimore game, that was just an absolute obliteration. The offensive line has been giving Joe Burrow a little bit more time to throw the football these past 4 weeks, and they've been starting to gel a little bit. And then everyone just was like, I'm going to get injured for the week. But you know what? Backups played well as well. And everybody's like, let's just all get injured. Let's see how Joe does with 4 backups in there. But guess what? They even got the job done there. And again, we're really starting to see Joe Burrow come on the more and more he plays for this Bengals team. Specifically, a little excited here, specifically in those tight windows. Those tight window throws, those extending the plays, the things you wondered, why didn't you just get rid of the football earlier in the season? Now we're seeing why Joe didn't get rid of the football earlier in the season, because this guy extends the plays and looks downfield and puts the football in places only his receiver can do it. We've seen it numerous times these past couple weeks. T. Higgins on the sideline, even Mike Thomas making some big plays where he just throws it, point blank, simple, only where his receiver can get it after extending these plays, picking up the first downs. It's been impressive. His football IQ, as if it couldn't get better, seems to be getting better and better as well, getting, understanding situations where he should extend a play, should he get rid of the football, where he should dump it off, where he should be looking to take that chance. He's getting better week in and week out with those. It's a guy that is currently 3rd in the league in passing yards with 2,272. He's got a 67% completion percentage. He's been sacked the 2nd most times in the league, and that alone is a big, impressive stat line right there. 3rd in the league passing yards, 2nd in the league sacks. Those two don't go together very well for 99% of quarterbacks in the NFL right there. And to see that Burrow's making it work is impressive. You got Higgins, you got Boyd, both on pace to have over 1,000 receiving yards this season. Well, Higgins actually is a little under 500, but he's been going off these last few weeks. It leads you to believe he should hit that 1,000-yard mark. A guy that I believe is the Bengals #1 for probably the next 7 to 8 years in Higgins. And you got a really good compliment, if you want to call him that, or a second #1 in Tyler Boyd, who will be opposite side of him. This Bengals team is looking really, really good from an offensive standpoint in the future here. And here's a stat I couldn't believe I seen come across the screen against the Titans here. 12 of 13. The Bengals are 12 of 13 on 4th down this season. Only the Bills have a better percentage, and that's because they've only attempted 3 4th downs all season. So take that as you will. If I were to say some things the Bengals need to work on second half of the season going forward in general, it's still the offensive line. It's getting better, but we still want to see some chemistry. We still want to see these guys perform against the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, you're going to get, you play those defenses, quarterback's going to get hit. That's just going to happen. But we want to see him be able to stand upright for some snaps of the game where it doesn't feel like he's getting killed every single play. So we got to see some improvement there. I think the pre-snap infractions need to be worked on. Joe Burrow, again, we're talking about this guy's football IQ as a rookie quarterback, is excellent at drawing the opposite team off sides with the hard count, but he seems to be just as good at drawing his offensive line and drawing his wide receivers off sides or on the false start as well there. They need to work on that. They need to clean that one up. And the AJ Green chemistry, that is the one thing in the air we're still worried about. He had a couple good weeks in there, started to look like the AJ of old, but whatever it is, it's a Joe Burrow and AJ Green thing. We're not just going to blame AJ Green for this. It's both of them. You've seen it in the Titans game again. AJ had that open hole between the safety over the top and the CB underneath him there, and Joe had the area, had the window to throw. He just underthrew him. He underthrew him by 4 or 5 yards. AJ had to try to come back and get it, couldn't get it. But if he lays that in there, that's a big 25, 30-yard play there, at least for AJ. And it looks like he had a pretty solid game again there against Tennessee if he catches that. But they're still having chemistry issues there for whatever reason. You got to believe they're going to get it together. He seems to be working pretty well with everybody else. I don't know what it is. They got something going. They just got to get that monkey off the shoulder there or off their back, and it'll be good there. But let's look at the defense. They are allowing 400 yards per game so far this season compared to the 393 they allowed last season. And that's just not good. And, there's no simple way or other way to put it. I still think you look at the defensive coordinator, you say he's under fire here, and he should be, because I still think there's some talented players on his team. And there's a lot of bright spots on his team. Again, looking forward. You got Jesse Bates, Pro Football Focus's highest rated safety, and deservedly so. He's been making big plays all season out there for these Bengals. They've also been depleted at defensive tackle, depleted at CB due to injuries, what seems like all season. And, you know, you sign the CBs, so, you know, I think you expect to be all right in that area where you got, when these guys are all healthy, you expect to be okay for the coming years here, where you don't have to draft those. On the other hand, you can look at a defensive tackle position, or maybe you look to go that direction in a draft, or you look offensive line, of course, there. But I mean, from the most part, you look at Logan Wilson, you got Gaither. I think those guys continue to play better week in and week out. Young linebacking core there for the Bengals, going to continue to improve. Lawson looking solid. Again, I think what you're working on if you're the Bengals defense here is it's just getting pressure on the quarterback. If they can get pressure on the quarterback, maybe teams wouldn't be batting 48% on third down against the Bengals right now, which is something obviously they need to work on as well. You get pressure on the quarterback, you force them to get the ball out, that number is going to go down. But the problem is they're not getting pressure on the quarterback, and they're giving the quarterback too much time to get rid of the football and find guys open. We brought it up a million times now. It doesn't matter who the CBs are. If you allow a quarterback to sit back there for 7 seconds to throw the football, they're going to find somebody eventually that's open. It's just the fact of the matter is there. You got to get some pressure on the quarterback here if you're the Bengals defense. But overall, for the way they play 400 yards per game, it's a defense that feels like they know how to get off the field in certain areas, though. And that's one thing that is, you know, something to look forward to as a Bengals fan, I think, is if they can make those big stops every once in a while in a game. They got the offense that can put up the points and keep them in every single game here. Again, it's just that pressure on the quarterback, the run defense, which is something that might improve again with the, you know, the growth of the linebackers, the interior of that offensive line improving, some growth out of your edge rushers as well there. We'll see. Overall, though, I just think it's a team, they know it. They know it. You even heard when Joe Burrow says it in the press conference, like, hey, we could be 6-1. We could be 7-2 or 6-2. They know that. They know they've been in every single game. And it is true. It doesn't feel like a team that only has 2 wins on the season. It doesn't feel like, you know, that tide might come back to haunt them. They got 3-5. 3-5 would look really good right now, but 2-5-1 to think out there is, you know, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like a team when you're halfway through the season as a Bengals fan. It feels like they're in every single game. It feels like there's, you know, minus that Ravens game, it just feels like a team that's fun to watch. It's a fun to watch football team that's only going to get better from here on out. And I think, you know, their stock continues to trend up here throughout the rest of this season. And I'm not against it. I really am not against it. We brought it up once. We'll bring it up again. Steelers twice, Ravens once. You split the Steelers series. The Ravens are week 17. Very well could be clinched week 17 and could be starting RG3, benching some starters. They already have so many. They got another guy, Stanley. They signed a $100 million deal. He's out for the season after this week. Losing some offensive linemen guys. I think it's a Bengals team that can beat the Ravens week 17. You split the Steelers series. Every other game the Bengals play this season is a game you look at and say, that's a game the Bengals can win. And you know what? Win with confidence. And you could talk about a team that's 9-6, 9-6-1, possible playoff team. It's not out of the picture yet. As much as they're being counted out, you do not count out this Bengals team, I don't think, right now. And you know what? We're hopeful. We're hoping that they can get it together here. Second half. Bengals looking good, though. A lot of promise here. That's our thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.